There was if you look up the tube, you see that red light?
Yes. Yeah.
If you look through this telescope right here, the only reason for this telescope is to read the mirror. Can you see that in your dial numbers up?
Oh, yeah.
That mirror is reflecting off the dial to the right of that.
Oh, wow.
And so that's called declination, kind of like latitude.
Okay.
And so if we know an object is located at this latitude, we move it, and you can see how the numbers through the mirror, how it's changing.
Uh-huh.
So we set it to whatever the declination is. And then for the right ascension, which is this way, that's difficult because it's constantly moving because the Earth is spinning.
Right.
And so what you would have to do is use this dial and move the telescope to some star, like Antares, say. And then you look up in the book what's called the right ascension is. Because the right ascension is going to be here right now, but as the Earth spins, it's going to be changing position.
Right.
And so you look it up, you turn this dial until it's to the right number, and then you're on there. So if we're finding an object like, let's say, Jupiter, that you can see with your unaided eye, you see that dot out there, you can, because we're moving this by hand, you can just kind of move this around and use these two sights here, just like on a BB gun, and that's how you can get it kind of in the right general area. And then you look through these smaller telescopes called guide or spotting telescopes, because the bigger the telescope, the smaller your field of view in general.
Right.
So if you're trying to find this object looking through this, your field of view is really tiny. What you see is really magnified.
Yeah.
You see detail, but the field of view is so small, it'd be like trying to find you, like this.
Yeah.
The smaller telescopes aren't magnifying as much, they have a wider field of view. So it allows us to get centered, and then we look through the big telescope and it should be in the right general area. And if you have what's called an open star cluster, which is a big, they're spread out, the field of view, this might be too small to get them all in there. And so this has a wider field of view. Going back billions of light years. So, like we see galaxies that are billions of light years old. Okay. The universe, as near as we can tell now, is almost 14 billion years old. And so we're really looking back in time. Those faraway things can look just like a smudge. If it's a galaxy, you're not going to see, you might have some structure to it, like you see some wisps or arms coming off, but overall it's not going to be like looking at the surface of the moon.
Yeah. With
the moon through this, you can see craters less than a half mile across. And so the wider what's called the primary objective, the more light it can gather. So it's like a big bucket, a big light bucket. And so Galileo's first telescope was like this diameter, and he looked at the moon and discovered some planets. The Lowell Discovery Telescope is 14 feet across. So almost the diameter of that floor down there. And that's not even the biggest in the world. That's the 5th largest in the continental U.S. Like when a train comes and the pitch changes as it gets close. Well, you can see that with lines. If something's moving towards us, the lines go in one direction, called blue shift. And if something's moving away from us, the lines are shifted to the right of where they should be, called red shift. One object was moving towards us, the Andromeda Galaxy, but most of these things were moving away from us, which told us that the universe is expanding. But if these things out there are moving this fast away from us, let's say the universe was 100 years old, even, just 100 years old. Multiply 100 times the rate that's moving, that's moved a lot.
Yeah.
Then multiply by our estimate of the age of the universe. This has been happening for a long time. The universe is much larger than we ever thought.